Okay, well, here we are in the game, and after watching that little video, the introductory video, for anybody who does not know, you only have to watch that the first time that you start a new game or a new playthrough. I could have started the recording after that video, but I'm doing this as a new player. I have actually only had this game, let's say about 3 days, maybe four, I don't remember. Had the game 3 or 4 days, and so I am a total beginner. I'm learning as I go, and I'm going to record this as I play it. I started this new playthrough. I've started and deleted the saved games and started again probably 7 or 10 times in the past 3 or 4 days. So I haven't advanced very far and still don't, I basically have no idea what I'm doing. I'm learning as I go. So you're going to get to watch me as I play, and as I learn, you'll be watching me see and do things for the first time, and you'll be able to see me screw it up, see all my mistakes, and then you'll also be able to hopefully see me do some things right, some of my triumphs. And hopefully it'll help somebody so you can watch and learn if you're having trouble with certain things. But I'm not going to do these videos as a how-to guide. Have one video on how to attack an animal, another video on how to eat, another video on how to make tools. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to play the game and record it in little chunks and then upload it, and you guys can kind of watch along and see if you learn anything from it or laugh at all my mistakes. Anyway, here's the beginning of the game. The baby fell out of the tree after the parent, after the adult ape or hominid, pre-human, whatever you want to call him, got was killed by that big bird. The baby fell down here, and now I'm. First thing I should say is I'm playing on a desktop PC. I'm using a keyboard and mouse. On the keyboard to view my current objective, I use the up arrow, tap up arrow, and it shows me my current objective. Regain safety in a hiding spot, or this is the important part, or in your clan settlement. I've seen a lot of videos where everybody takes the little baby monkey and runs him off into a hiding spot, and then they switch over to the adult and come out and look for him. If you do not want to do that, if you want, you can locate the clan, the settlement where the clan is, and take your little baby monkey all the way home. You don't have to hide him and have an adult come and look for it. Either way will start the game the same way. The only difference being once you get back to the clan, to the clan's main area there, if you come back as the baby, you'll continue to be that baby, and you need to switch over to one of the adults by analyzing, and then switching over. If you hide the baby, you will automatically switch over to one of the adults back at the clan home base and have to come out and look for the baby. So anyway, I'm going to take the baby now and go find a hiding spot. For anybody looking at this game for the first time, what you see right now is not the normal way that the game looks. Right now everything looks very dark and gloomy. It's their way, their version of trying to make it look spooky. The idea is this baby has fallen down out of the trees after its parent or whoever that adult was that was carrying him around. That adult was killed by that large bird, and the baby fell down here. He's now panicked. He's now very scared. Everything sounds super loud, if you can hear all this noise in the background. And if you look around, everything looks dark and gloomy and scary to him. So we need to find him a place to hide, or we need to find the home base where the rest of the clan is. You see the options on the left side there. You have three options: E, Q, and the right mouse button at the very bottom will cause him to call out. By clicking the E button, it opens up this screen where you can now look around at different things that you can interact with. As you see on the screen here, this kind of brownish, kind of off brown box that's there in the center of the screen. That's what I'm currently focused on. As I move my mouse around and change my point of view, I'm looking at different areas here. There's a diamond shape up here that I can focus on. That's the current clan settlement. Over here, when I focus on this one, and I'm focusing by holding down, by clicking and holding the left mouse button, then I'm focusing on this one. When I release it, it identifies it. That's a hiding spot. As I look around, here's another one over here. These are the hiding spots if I chose to hide the little monkey or hide the baby and then switch over to one of the adults to come down to look for him. So those are your options. You can go over here, hide in one of these hiding spots, or you can make your way back up here to the clan settlement. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, hide in one of these hiding spots, and then we'll let one of the adults come down and look for him. But I just wanted to let you know you do have the option of traveling as the little baby monkey. You do have the option of going back up there to the clan settlement where all the other adults are. You could travel back up there on your own if you choose to do that. It's a little longer, and you have to be a little more careful that you don't get attacked by something. So what I'm doing as I'm making my way toward this icon that I saved for the hiding spot, when I get close enough to it, an option will appear on the screen that enables me to hide, and another little cutscene will play out showing the baby hiding himself in a little cave, a little opening under the rock pile here. And there's the option to hide. The icon right below the word hide indicates that I can press the left mouse button. I click it, and now that cutscene starts, and he'll stash himself underneath that rock and hide and wait for somebody to come and rescue him. And then I'm transformed into one of the adults back at the clan settlement area. I am now this ape, hominid, pre-human, whatever you choose to call them. You'll probably hear me call him an ape or a monkey man or whatever. I'm not worried about being politically correct, and I don't care if you like it or not. My video, my game, I play it the way I choose, and you have the option of stopping the video and moving on to something else. So anyway, I am controlling this ape that's here in front of me. You move the mouse around to change the direction you're looking. As you move the mouse, it does not move your ape. It just moves the camera, basically. Movement keys are the regular W, A, S, and D. W, A, S, and D. W for forward. Press S for backwards. He turns around and comes back toward the camera. A and D move him to the left and to the right. You do not have the option, or at least I've not found an option. Perhaps there's a way to go in and alter game files to hack the game, but in the options, in the regular option settings and that sort of thing, there's no option to change the point of view. You cannot make it first person view or move the camera further away from your ape or closer to the ape. What you see right now as I move the camera around is the default setting, and I've not found a way to change it, and actually don't really care enough to try to go into the game and hack the settings or anything like that. So it will be as it is, as you see it right now. Again, I'm playing on the keyboard. If I press up arrow, it displays my current objective again. My objective is to go find that lost baby and bring him back here to the clan area. So we need to look around and try to figure out where that little baby is. Again, just as I did when I was controlling the baby, you're able to use your senses of smell, your sight, and your hearing by tapping the E key, it changes the window to this window where there are icons displaying in various parts of the screen that you can interact with. As long as you don't move your ape forward, backward, or to the left or right, as long as you don't move, you'll stay in this screen and can change the camera from one spot to another, highlight one of them, and then press and hold down the left mouse button to focus on it. When you release it, it will identify that icon. If it's something that you have not physically touched, picked up, examined, tasted, or smelled from very close proximity, you will only see a question mark, as you see on the one in front of me right now. That means there is something there, but I don't know what it is because I've not gone over there and looked at it yet. The whole point of this game is to go out and explore and learn about your environment. Again, as you can see, I moved the ape further along this branch or this large vine, and the screen changed. The icons that were available from the intelligence screen are now gone. To see them again, I press E and they reappear, and I'm looking around, and what I'm trying to do is find out where the little baby is. We know he's down there on the ground somewhere, hiding under a little pile of rocks. And my job is to use my senses, hearing, smelling, or sight, to try to figure out where he is. As I move along out here on this very large vine or branch, whatever it is, the help menu pops up and suggests that I tap Q instead of E, to tap Q to open up my senses. I'm now listening to all the sounds coming out of this jungle area. You can see the little, I don't know what to call them, these little symbols, looks like ripples in water. Those are the game's way of showing sounds, and currently there is nothing that I can focus on as I look around until I look over this direction. As you can see, there's one there about the center of the screen that highlights. I press on the right mouse button to focus on it, and then release the button, and it identifies it. It identified it as being the baby, the little lost monkey that I have to go find. Again, right mouse button, hold it, and it focuses on it. When I release it, it identifies it. On the left side of the screen, you see I have the option to press E to memorize that location. If I don't do that, as soon as I start moving again, that icon will disappear from the screen, and I'll have to depend on my own memory to remember which direction to go in. If I want to make it a little easier on myself, I focus on it, identify it, and then memorize it. And now when I move, it's going to stay on the screen there, makes it a little easier to find him. So what I'm going to do now is I have to travel down to the area where he is. Again, there's the icon about center of the screen over there, over my right shoulder. So I'm going to try to jump to this tree. And look, seems like I'm not doing too bad. I haven't fallen yet. Okay, we're down here on the ground now. And I'm going to make my way over here. Now the tooltip says that I need to comfort the kid. I tap the right mouse button, then wait for answers to progressively comfort the kid. Lower the temperature, take the time to listen. The lower the temperature part, I don't exactly understand what they mean by that. But anyway, I know that the baby is under that rock, hiding in that little hole there, You can hear him screeching. He's still pretty panicked, and um, because he's panicked, he's not going to come out right away. I need to comfort him, to calm him down, and convince him that I'm here to rescue him. I'm not here to hurt him. So I get a little closer, the comfort um, icon appears. It's for the right mouse button. I tap the right mouse button, and you see the bar, the upper center of the screen where it says comforting, and then there's a bar under that. It's shrinking because I'm no longer doing anything to interact with the kid. He's slowly um, losing the little bit of comfort that I gave to him. Each time I tap the right mouse button, I call out to him or to her, to the baby. I'm not sure if it's a him or a her. Each time I call out, then I need to wait for the baby to respond. If I click the button again too soon, I don't gain I don't fill that bar up anymore. See, he responded. See, I'm clicking the button too soon. I need to pause a little longer. And there he's finally coming out. I think there's a little bit of RNG involved, a little bit of randomness. Um, it seems as here at the beginning of the game, I've been playing for what, just 5 minutes or thereabouts, 10 minutes. Haven't really learned much of anything. My brain probably hasn't developed much yet. And I think the RNG aspect of it is showing that just because I press the button does not guarantee that it's going to work 100% of the time, every time. Sometimes it fails. And as you can see by that bar that was under the word comforting, it was climbing, it was slowly filling up from left to right, but every now and then it would go back down a little tiny bit, and that's just to introduce a little bit of randomness to make sure that I understand not everything works exactly as planned every single time. Or at least that's my opinion. Who knows? I have no idea what the game developers were thinking and why it does that, but that's just the impression I got from trying. This is probably my 10th or 12th start of a new game that I've done in the past couple of days. I think I've got a total of maybe 2 or 3 hours in one game without having to restart. That's about as far as I've got. So you're learning, you're watching me learn as I go along. Now, I have the baby. I rescued him from under that rock. Press the up arrow to re-display my current objective. My new objective is to join your clan in your settlement. I have to make my way back to the area where I started out from, where the rest of the clan is. Because I climbed down through this trees over here, hopped down a few branches, I basically know the clan is up there somewhere. So I'm going to use my my E, open up the intelligence window, and I'm going to hunt through these icons and little things that pop up on the screen. See if I can't find the one for the clan. That one shows me a question mark, meaning there is something there, but I do not know what it is yet. There's another one right next to it. I'm going to highlight that one. And it shows that that's the current clan location. I press the E key to memorize it, and now when I move, it'll remain on the screen, so I have an easier time finding my way back up there. I could stop and explore down here, look at a lot of the rocks and plants, and maybe pick up a few things. You see things that I come close to that I'm able to interact with. You see how one of these branches on this fern-looking plant. Kind of looks like a fern right here in front of me. As I get close to it, you see parts of it highlight, and on the left I have the option to grab it. I'm not going to do that right now. I just want to finish getting this baby back to the clan, because the longer I'm down here, the more chance I have that an animal is going to come along and want to do bodily harm to me. So for now, I just want to get us back up here to the house, or the home, back where we belong, to finish this first objective. And again, there's that icon. I memorized that location. There is no in-game map that you can open, so you basically have to keep looking around and establishing your location and the direction you're traveling based on what you see around you. And so here's our clan area, our clan location, headquarters, whatever you want to call it. When I get closer to this icon that I saved to mark that location, a cutscene will start showing me bringing the baby back, and everybody, all the other clan members being happy and welcoming us back and all that. I stopped just so I could have time to explain that and tell you what's about to happen, so I don't have to speak over it once it's playing. This is one of the elders on the right side, and the dark-colored, almost black-colored ape, that was me. I'm being congratulated. That was my interpretation of it, is the elder was basically announcing to everybody that, everyone else in the clan, look what he did, or she, look what I did. I saved the baby, I did a good job, and all that. So we're in the game now. I've rescued the baby, brought him back to the clan, and now we go on. And if you're not familiar with the game, the point of the game, what you're supposed to be doing is developing your ape's brain and its knowledge by examining everything and anything. You basically start off not knowing anything. You don't even know, for instance, this water right here in front of me. The ape does not even know what to do with that water, and I'll demonstrate that by walking into the water. You now see on the left side of the screen I have the option to click on the left mouse button to scoop. He'll scoop up some water, and now I have the option to inspect it by pressing and holding Q. He tastes the water, thinks about it, smells it. Basically, he just taught himself that this is a fresh water source, that he can drink it. But previous to that, he did not know that he could even drink water. So now I have if you look at the options, I hit the top one left mouse button. I press the left mouse button. He drinks the water. You notice the ape behind me, and as I pan around the camera, you see the other apes doing the same thing. As long as you're close to your clan members, when you do something for the first time, or practically anything, when you do it in close proximity to them, they will mimic it. They will learn by observing what you've done. So by me learning that this was water and that I could drink it, now they all came down and drank some water. To save the game, anytime you want to save the game, you need to come up to one of these sleep spots, which is basically it's some grass and leaves that have been gathered up, uh, padded down to make a like a padded soft area that you can lay on. As you see on the left side of the screen, the option click Z to lay down, the Z key. I click Z and he lies down, and now he just learned that this was a sleep spot. And now the options on the right, Z for sleep, I could drop the child, or E for evolution. If I drop the child off, now I'm not carrying the baby around on my back. If I get up and move away, the baby remains there until I come back and pick him back up. And I'm trying to get the baby to highlight, and for some reason it's not. There he is. Now, by highlighting the baby, you see now I have the two options, E for analyze. It tells me the baby's name, his mother and father are right there above his name, and it also says that this baby is carrying a spontaneous genetic mutation that will not be activated or defined until he grows up. I'll get into that a little bit more later on in one of the other videos. For now, I just want to pick him up. So I have the option, the E for analyze, right mouse click for piggyback to carry the baby. Again, to save the game, you have to come to one of these sleep spots and lie down. I click Z. Now I have the option for sleep, drop child, and evolution. You have to press and hold the Z key, and then he'll slowly lie down and start sleeping. Now you see the clock up in the upper center of the screen has gone into fast forward. You have to sleep for a minimum of an hour. I always sleep for 2 or 3 hours minimum. You see this grayed out image that appeared in the center of the screen? That represents the ape dreaming. When that's happening, you can't interact with it. It seems to be random. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with what you've done recently. It's just a random dream that he has or she has while they're sleeping. Once that dream has appeared and faded away, that's usually when I stop sleeping and the game has saved at this point. If I was to click my escape key, you see I now have the option to resume, go into the options menu, all these various options here that I can click, and here's to quit the game. If I had opened this screen up by clicking escape and quit the game prior to saving it at that sleep spot, when I restart the game, I would have restart or resumed at the last save point. The game automatically saves when big items or big things happen in the game. For instance, when I brought the baby back to the clan and that cutscene played where I was being welcomed back, and the elder was congratulating me or praising me for having found the baby, that would have been a spot where the game would have auto-saved there because it's a big event in the game. If I had not come up to this sleeping area and save the game as I did just now, if I quit, and that I would have lost whatever I had done since I brought the baby back until I saved it. If I had done a few things and then just quit out of the game without saving by going to a sleep area, I would have lost whatever abilities I had done or whatever XP I had earned for the few things I did after I brought that baby back. So hopefully I explained it correctly or I didn't ramble too much. Basically, the game is saved automatically whenever a big life-changing event happens. Otherwise, you have to save it yourself by lying down on a sleeping pad or sleeping area and then sleeping for a few hours, and the game will save, and then you can quit the game and you'll resume the game at that sleeping area where you just slept. So let me get back into the game. Again, I just saved it. If I were to quit, exit out of the game entirely, come back later and restart the game, I would start here at this point. Okay, so I slept for a few hours. You now see in the center, lower center of the screen, this round ball, round circle. It's green in the center and has a reddish, kind of a brick red outline around it. That green area has diminished, has got smaller because I've lost energy. As time goes by, your animal, your hominid, your ape that you're controlling, loses health, loses energy. I mean, because he's used up food and water in his system. And the longer you go without eating or drinking, the smaller that ball, the green area, will get. It'll slowly keep shrinking down and expose more of the red. So that's a way the game shows you that you need to replenish the health by eating and drinking. Actually, there's three things: eating, drinking, and sleeping. But because I just slept and just woke up, I know I'm not tired and that that's not one of the things I need to replenish. I know it's food and or water. So I'm going to go over here. I already know how to drink because I just did it a few moments ago before I slept. He examined the water for the first time and learned that he could drink it. So I'm going to come over here in the water. You see the option on the side there to scoop. When I start scooping and drinking the water, you're going to see this green area, this green circle at the lower center of the screen will start pulsating a yellowish orange flashing. When it's doing that, when you see the yellow-orange flash, that's telling you that the thing you're doing, in this case the drinking of the water, is replenishing the green circle and making it bigger. It's one of the things you need to replenish. If I drink the water and it does not flash the yellowish orange flash, then that means the water is not one of the things that I'm lacking. Let me demonstrate by drinking some water, and you'll see what I'm trying to explain. You'll see this yellow flashing. You see it flashing down there? It's pulsing, that yellowish orange flash. As long as it's flashing like that, it means I'm lacking, and I'm lacking whatever it is I'm doing right now, and I need more of it. There it's stopped, and it's flashing. It flashed green once, but now as I drink, you no longer see the yellow flash. That means I no longer require water. I can continue drinking water as much as I want, but I'm no longer replenishing my health. As you see, that green circle got bigger. It grew and covered up some of the red outline because I drank the water. But now as I drink more water, it's not flashing yellow. It means that water is not what I'm lacking now. I'm still lacking something because you can still see some of the red around there. So because I know I just finished sleeping, I know I'm not tired, I know I just drank the water, and it stopped. It no longer flashes yellow when I drink the water, so I know it's not water. The only other of the three items that I could be lacking is food. So I need to find something to eat. Here's a plant right here by the water that when I get close to it, one of the branches, one of the little leaf clusters highlights. I see the option on the left there that I can grab it. So I left click. I can grab that item. Because this is the first time I've picked up this particular item and I do not know what it is, my option is to either inspect it or drop it. You see that on the left, the letter Q on the keyboard for inspect, or the letter C to drop. To inspect an item, you have to press and hold the Q key. If I'm going to do it, I'm just going to tap the Q key for a very short time and release it. You'll see that on the letter Q next to the word inspect, a blue circle will start to appear. I released the key before he finished and began the action. You see that blue circle start to appear. You have to hold it long enough for that circle to completely fill all the way around, and then the cutscene will begin, the animation will begin, showing him examining this item that he's holding in his hand and learning what it is for the first time. But you have to hold the key. If you just tap it and release it, he doesn't start the animation. So again, Q, hold it until he begins. Now once he starts that animation, I can release the key and he'll continue going through his little animation there of examining that item. As I move my mouse, I can move my point of view around. Now you see on the left, I have the option to eat it, to use the C, the letter C, to drop it, or the Q to inspect it. The inspect option has dropped down to the bottom. There's no sense in inspecting this particular item again because I just did. There's nothing more that I can learn by inspecting it. As you'll see, I'll inspect it again. He'll go through the animation again, but now he doesn't learn anything more from it because he's learned everything he can from this first examination. So now my option is to eat it. I click the left mouse button and he'll take a bite from it. On most items, you have to hold the mouse for a couple of seconds to give him time to eat the entire item. It usually takes him 2 or 3 bites or more on most items to eat the entire item. So he ate that item, and hold on here, let me move over away from that bush. It's getting in my field of view there. So he ate, and if you notice when he was eating, let me do it again. The green circle in the middle center of the screen will pulse with the yellow, indicating that eating food is replenishing the health, replenishing that green circle. I need to continue to eat this food or other foods until it no longer pulses with the yellow, just like I did with the water. So I ate 2 of those little leafy green things that were here. I'm now going to go find something else to eat. Try to give him a little bit of variety. There's something hanging in this bush here. It highlights. I have the option to the left, on the left side of the screen, you see the option to grab it. So I'm going to grab it, and just to make it easier to see in the video, I'm going to move over here into the clearing. And now I have the option to inspect it or drop it, as you see on the left side there. Also, I failed to point this out. When I'm not speaking, I'm going to stop speaking for a second, and I want you to listen to the sound that's playing in the background. That sound will come up. That's a sound cue that will come up anytime you pick up something for the first time. Anytime you pick up something that you have not examined previously, you'll hear that sound. Let me get up here in the clearing and drop it. Okay, I dropped it. I'm going to stop speaking now. Let me get that help menu off the screen. I stopped speaking. Now listen, you do not hear that same sound because I dropped the item. I did not examine it. I dropped it on the ground behind me there. You see I move a little closer to it. It's highlighted there just above my head in the picture, or in the display. It's highlighted there on the ground, and I have the option, you see it displaying on the left side of the screen, the option to grab it. When I grab it, I'm not going to say anything. I want you to listen. You'll hear that sound again. To my hearing, it sounds kind of like the sound, it's kind of like wind, or maybe a little bit like the sound of like an echo sound that you would hear when you're standing in front of a cave or a cavern in other games. Let me highlight this item, get closer to it, grab it. And there's that sound. I did not speak when I first picked it up. I wanted you to hear that sound. Also, if you look down here at his right hand, he's got his 2 hands below him, close there at the ground, and he's holding the item. If you look at it closely, you can see what look like little tendrils of smoke, or a little little animated display to maybe show that there's a smell coming off of it. That's a visual cue to let you know that this is an item that you have not examined before and that you need to examine, to inspect this item so that you can learn something from it. Once you inspect this item, the next time you pick it up, you won't hear that background sound or the visual cue. You won't see that little smoky tendril animation there. It's just the first time you pick up each new thing that you find in the game. So let me press and hold Q. He starts his animation. He's going to check it out. Makes his little funny face when he's looking at it. And as you can hear, that sound stopped, and also the little tendrils kind of look like smoke or whatever coming off of it. That's no longer there. That lets you know that this is not a brand new item for you, that you already know something about it. As you see, if I press Q, press and hold Q again to examine it again, the animation is still the same, but he doesn't learn anything more by examining it again. So now I have the option to eat it. And it's, as you see on the screen, a little announcement came up: assimilated nutrients from this berry type of food. Each time you eat something for the first time, you'll see that little announcement that you've accomplished another little step or a little chain in the evolutionary chain or evolution process that you need to be working through. So he ate that berry, or that little cluster of berries. Let me go back and get another one, because when I look at the green circle in the center lower of the screen, it's almost completely green, but I still see a very slight, if I move the point of view around to a lighter area, I can still see a very, very slight reddish, brick reddish color around it. So he's not completely 100% satisfied yet. Let me find another berry and eat that. And you see it pulsing yellow again. That means that he's still gaining health, or replenishing his health energy, his life energy, by eating. If I come back here, grab another one, and I eat that, and it's still pulsing yellow. There it stopped. It's no longer pulsing yellow as he eats. He's now filled all of his requirements, his little daily regime of food, water, and rest. That green circle is now complete, as large as it's going to get. You no longer see the little bit of red around it. So he's basically, his belly is full of food and water, and he's well rested. Now, as I progress through the game, as I play the game, as my little creature now moves around, you see that green circle pulses a little bit as I move. That's to indicate that I'm using some of that energy, that life energy, life force, whatever you want to call it. I'm using some of it. Everything I do uses a little bit of that energy. So I'm using up the food and water and the rest that I got by sleeping, by doing things. The harder the thing is that I'm doing, the more difficult it is, or the more, what's the word I'm looking for, the more taxing it is on my body. For instance, just walking back and forth here, that green circle's just pulsing a little bit, just flashing a little bit. I'm not using much energy walking back and forth like this. Now, if I was to come over here to these rocks and start climbing up the rocks, you'll see that green circle pulses a little more, it's a little bit bigger animation, I guess is the word I should use. It flashes a little more to indicate I'm using more energy. You see how big the little green circles are coming off of it? And you can see that the green is actually getting smaller, and you can see this reddish yellow circle is starting to appear around the green. That means that the green circle is shrinking as I use up my energy, and it's exposing that yellow behind it, meaning I'm using up my energy. As long as I'm hanging on this rock, he's not going to rest. He doesn't rest by hanging. Even though I'm not moving, he's still expending energy. You see that green circle is pulsing. It's pulsing at a smaller, slower rate now. But if you continue to watch it, it is actually getting smaller and exposing more of this yellowish red around it, meaning I'm expending energy by hanging on this rock. To stop expending the energy, I need to get off the rock, get down on the ground, stop moving. Now you see the green filled back up again. The ball, the circle filled back up. I caught my breath basically. It's like mana in other games. You expend mana, your energy, by doing things in other games, and you need to stop and catch your breath, let it replenish. That's what happened right there. I climb up the rocks. I'm expending quite a bit more energy by climbing more so than I do when I'm just walking around on the ground. And as long as I continue to hang out on these rocks, I'm not able to rest because I'm holding my body up. I'm using the muscles in my arms and legs to hold my body up on this rock, and so I'm expending energy. I expend less energy when I'm not moving, when I'm just sitting, holding still right here, but I'm still expending, but at a smaller rate. When I'm moving, it starts flashing those green circles, and I'm using quite a bit more of it. Get down, stop moving, and now it replenishes. Walking around down here on the ground, on the flat ground, I'm not expending very much, so it pulses in a much lesser degree than it did when I was climbing. When I get in the water, you'll see that he stands up on two legs, and now as I walk, you see that it's flashing a bigger green circle around that green ball. It means that I'm expending more energy to walk upright than I do when I walk on all fours. As long as he's waiting in an upright, it continues to expend the energy. I get here on the ground, stop moving, and it replenishes. It replenishes pretty quick. I'm expending a small amount of energy just walking back and forth. So I don't want to belittle that. I don't want to go on and on too much, but I just wanted to explain it. And I also failed to explain one thing. Let me show you. If you get up on something and you're expending a bunch of energy, I'm climbing up here, I'm using much more energy because I'm carrying my body weight and the weight of the baby on my back. That green ball is getting smaller much faster than it did when I was on the ground. You can see that it's exposing more of the yellowish, reddish yellow around it. That green ball, as long as I stay on the rocks, expending or spending the energy to hold myself up, that green circle will continue to get smaller and smaller and smaller. If the green circle goes all the way down to where it disappears and I continue to expend energy, I will now start spending the yellow circle. When you start spending that is your life force. You will lose some of your life expectancy, and you will not regain that. In other words, you're taking away from the life expectancy of your ape. If your ape could live, for example, I don't know how many years it can live, but if nothing happened to him and in a normal lifespan, it could be, say, 10 years as an example. If I expend this green ball all the way down to where it disappears, and then I start using up the yellow, I will be diminishing his life expectancy, and he might go from being able to live 10 years down to where he may only live 9 years or 8 years. So you want to be careful that you do not spend the entire green circle. Do not let that green circle shrink down to the point where it completely disappears. When it gets real close to disappearing, you need to stop whatever you're doing and rest. If you're climbing in a tree, you need to find a place on a branch where you can sit on the branch without having to hold your body up with all your arms and legs the way he is on this rock. When you're climbing a tree, it's the same thing. If you're hanging on the side of a tree, he's expending energy to hold his body weight up with his arms and legs on the side of that tree or the tree branch. But if you climb up on top of a big branch where you can sit, the same way that he sits down here on the ground, then that ball reappears, energizes itself. He regains or replenishes his energy. Never let that green circle completely shrink down to where it disappears, or you will take away from your life expectancy of your ape, your hominid, whatever you want to call your monkey man. You need to carry a baby around on your back to gain XP. As I'm walking around doing things, I don't know if you noticed, each time I did something, let me pick up something that I haven't looked at before. Here's a rock here on the ground, highlights. I have the option you see on the left there where I can grab it. I pick it up. Now you hear that sound in the background alerting me to the fact that this is something I'm seeing and looking at for the first time, and the little tendrils of smoke or whatever it is you can see floating around the rock in his hand is the visual cue to let me know that this is something I'm seeing for the first time. When I click and when I press and hold the Q key, he's going to inspect it. Also watch this circle that's in the lower right portion of the screen. It's one large white circle with a couple of smaller ones in the center, and then there's what is it, 3, 5, 6, 7 dots, the 5 white dots and the 2 yellow dots. I'll explain what those are, but watch that circle. When he inspects this item, you'll see a flash of white on there. That's an indication that he gained some neuronal power, neuronal energy. The neuronal energy into his neurons in his brain, that is the game's version of XP. That's what other games call XP. In this game, they refer to it as neuronal energy. Anyway, as I press and hold Q, watch for the flash of that circle down there in the lower right. There was the flash. That's to let me know that was an indication that I just gained some XP by examining that rock for the first time, because I have the baby here on my back. I would have gained a few more points of XP if I had been carrying 2 babies. You can carry a maximum of 2 babies on each of your apes. I have one right now. There's another one I saw wandering around here. I should have picked him up. But anyway, I'm just trying to show you some of the beginner things. Anyway, when you examine something, when you learn something for the first time, you gain neuronal energy, that flash that you saw down there. If I had not been carrying the baby here on my back, let me show you an example. I'm going to take the baby over here to the this sleeping area. First, let me put the rock down. Put the rock back over there. I come over here to the sleeping area, tap Z to lie down. Now I have the option to sleep, drop the child, or open up the evolution menu. I'm going to right click. I drop off the baby. I get up. Now the baby stays there on the sleeping pad. He'll stay there until I pick him up. Sometimes I think they randomly get up and start wandering around and looking at a few things, interacting with a few things here in the clan area, but they pretty much will stay right here in this area. They won't wander out in the jungle and get lost unless you carry them out there and then drop them out there. I just wanted to show you. I put the baby down. I no longer have a baby. I'm no longer carrying a baby piggyback. Now when I come around here, let me find something that I have not looked at or examined before. This dead tree here has some branches on it. I've not examined one of those previously in this playthrough. So you see I highlight one of the branches by getting close to it. It's highlighted there above my head. And on the left you see I have the option to grab it. I grab it. You hear that kind of windy, echoey sound playing in the background. And you see with little tendrils of smoke down there by my hand indicates it's an item that I'm looking at for the first time. I do not have a baby. I'm not carrying a baby. I'm going to press and hold the Q key. He goes through his animation. Okay, I stand corrected. He did gain XP. You saw the flash down there. Apparently, if you're close enough to the baby, you also gain the XP. I did not gain as many XP as I normally would have because I wasn't carrying the baby. But I did gain some. There's the other one I was looking for.